Assembly. In this module, you'll learn how to assemble, sanitize, and start up the Taylor 794 soft serve machine. Remember, you will be handling equipment that will be touching food, so always wash and sanitize your hands before you begin. Lay out all of the necessary parts and have them close to your machine with a rolling cart, or assemble the parts on a nearby counter. Prepare 2.5 gallon buckets of a chlorine-based sanitizing solution following the manufacturer's instructions at 100 parts per million. Water temperature should not be hotter than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Use the 1-inch black bristle brush dipped in sanitizer to clean the rear shell bearing, which is the center hole in the cylinder. Clean off the excess lube with the paper towel. Use the large white bristle brush dipped in sanitizer to clean the cylinders, hoppers, and the hopper sensor probes. Use the 1-inch white bristle brush to clean the hopper mix inlet hole in each hopper. Insert the black rear drip tray and shield as well as the frontal drip tray. Use the Taylor lube or Haynes Lubrifilm to lube the groove of the drive shafts. Ensure boot seal is turned bulge side out. Install boot seal over drive shaft groove until it snaps into place. Fill and pack boot seal with lube. Continue to lube the shaft up to the etch line. Do not lube the hex end. Install drive shaft into the rear shell bearing until it snaps into place. You may need to turn the drive shaft until you feel it snap into place. Install all 6 large O-rings onto the 3 draw valves. Lube on and in between the O-rings. Insert all 3 draw valves into the bottom of the door with the opening of the valve inserted first. Snap the 3 star caps onto the spouts on the freezer door. Install the 4 small O-rings on the 2 prime plugs. Lube the prime plugs on and in between the O-rings. Install both prime plugs in the small holes at the top of the door. Wash your hands again to remove any lube using proper hand washing procedures. Assemble both wiper blades by slipping one end under the hook at the top of the beater blade. Wrap the wiper around the beater blade, attaching it to the opposite end of the beater blade. Slide the beater into the freezing cylinder with the open circle end facing you. Insert the beater into the drive shaft until the beater is completely inside the cylinder. Place the 2 large gaskets into the grooves on the back side of the door. Slide both of the white plastic bearings with the flare end facing down along the trombone rods. Install the freezer door trombones through the opening of the beaters, making sure to hold the large black gaskets in place with your fingertips. Insert the long hand screws on top and the short hand screws on the bottom. Tighten the hand screws in a crisscross pattern to prevent the freezer door from cracking. Insert the pivot pin through the freezer door. Insert each draw handle, one at a time, through the draw valve slots, sliding the pivot pin through each draw handle. Install the small O-rings onto the A100 air orifices. Install 4 medium O-rings onto the number 2 or number 3 air tubes. Place the air orifice on the air tube opposite the small hole. Lay the tube into the hopper to be sanitized. Pour 2.5 buckets of 100 parts per million chlorine-based sanitized water into each hopper. Be sure to only use cool or warm temperature water. Turn on main power switch. Press the wash button to turn on the wash mode. Allow the sanitized water to agitate for a minimum of 5 minutes. Use a large white bristle brush to scrub the sensor probe and walls of the hopper. Check the rear drip tray to make sure there are no leaks. After sanitizing for 5 minutes, lower all 3 draw handles to drain the sanitized water. Press the wash button to turn off the wash mode. Priming. Shake the jugs to thoroughly mix the soft serve product. Remove the jug lid and place it in a fresh sanitized red pail. Smell and taste the product with a sanitized spoon before pouring it into the hopper. Prop the air tube behind the sensor probe. Place a container below the draw spout and lift the prime plug to the first O-ring. Lower the draw handle and pour the soft serve product into the hopper. Once the sanitizer has been flushed from the cylinder, lift the handle to stop the flow. Once the soft serve is flowing from the priming hole under the door, push down the prime plug. Install the air tube assembly into the mix inlet hole, then press auto. To complete this e-course, you will need to click on the Continue button to take the quiz and pass with a 90% or better to be certified. This concludes the Know Your Tailor 794 assembly module.